So we start the show this week at the top of the table, Mitchell. We've seen Atlético Ottawa lead the way for a lot of the season. At times, their gap has been larger. Right now, it's only 1 point. They've now played Forge FC twice, and there has been nothing to separate these teams either time, right? 2-2 in the school day game in Hamilton back in May. This weekend, it's 1-1. We've got quite the title race on our hands at this midway point of the season. Atlético Ottawa have won the regular season once before. Forge won it last year, though. They are separated by 1 point, and they now are on level footing on 14 games played each, both at that exact halfway point of their season. So, Mitch, the question right now that I have as we look at this second half of the season is who's going to win this CPL Shield, right? It's tough to really make it a convincing argument for one over the other at the moment, but I'm going to ask you to do so. So if you had to guess with your gut right now, where is this title race going?
I'll take the team that's leading it right now and has been leading it for the majority of this season, and that's Atlético Ottawa. I think for me, goals are at a premium in the CPL, and that's what Atlético Ottawa do best is they score goals. They've got 31 through 14 matches, which is on pace to be the best ever season in CPL history from a goal scoring perspective. But also, I think they found a way to stop conceding goals as well, which is obviously just as important in a title race. They've conceded just 1 in their past 5. You look at the past 2 CPL regular season winners, and those are the teams that scored the most goals. Calgary in 2023, Forge last season. But I think more importantly, if you look back at the totality of the league, it's the teams with the best goal difference that have really succeeded. It's funny enough, Atlético Ottawa are the only team to not have the best goal difference and win a CPL regular season. They did that in 2022. But, I think with the way they're trending defensively, with the way they've obviously been playing offensively, and just so much deeper than last year, I think that's going to be a really big key down the stretch here. Was obviously we saw them do this last year, get off to a really hot start, and then, towards the midway season, they kind of lost their way, lost their identity. They weren't surprising teams anymore, and went downhill from there. I think this team is a lot deeper than we give them credit for, just because they found such a consistent 11. But if they do go through injuries, if there are some changes, there's a lot of good players. You think of like a Sissoko, think of a Monty Patterson, who we haven't seen all that much. Like there's a lot of players who could really step up and step in for them. So I really like what Atlético Ottawa has done so far this season. And I think that for me, they're still the favorites to go out and win this regular season.
I mean, they've certainly got that slight advantage, and it's been very impressive to see the way that Ottawa have played. Even against Forge on Saturday, like not always at their best, kind of throwing everything the kitchen sink at Forge for a lot of the game against a Forge team that was doing really, really well to stay compact. But they find a way in the end. You get a ball into the box. Joaquim Coulange comes off the bench. As you mentioned, it's depth. You get in there and they win the penalty. But I want to kind of make the case for Forge a little bit here. First of all, we've said so many times that it is very, very difficult to count them out or bet against Forge FC, just given their history and what they've done over the course of their time in the Canadian Premier League. We've seen them top the table after far, far worse starts to seasons before, right? Even last year was a little bit slower. I think they're unbeaten in their first 14 games to start the year in the CPL. 17 if you count the Canadian Championship. And 2 of those games were against an MLS team. They won both of those, by the way. If Forge can get a point at home against Pacific on Friday, they'll break their own all-time Canadian Premier League record for unbeaten games just at any point in a Canadian Premier League season. That record was, I think, the last 14 games of the 2019 season. So they're just so incredibly difficult to beat, right? Certainly nobody has done it this year. At least not since Monterrey in February. I think what impresses me about Forge is how many evolutions they go through. They came into Ottawa and they're playing with a back 5, right? I don't know how many times ever under Bobby Smirniotis we've seen them do that, right? But they're almost just kind of, sometimes you see Bobby kind of flexing and playing with his team a little bit. He's like, oh hey, actually we can play with this false nine. We can put this as a striker. We can make Alex Ashnudy-Johnson play on the right of a 3-man back line, and it's just gonna work because this is a team where every single player understands the tactical identity so well, because a lot of them have been there for so long, and that allows you all that flexibility. I think when we see Forge play against Atlético Ottawa, it felt like they had like 14 or 15 men on the pitch at some points, right? Like there were very, very few moments where Ottawa had any space to work with. I mean, they score from a penalty, and it's a frustrating moment if you're Forge because, you know, I don't think there's any reason why Reza Rama has to be trying to make a clearance in that way with his boot high up on Coulange. I mean, you're not even in front of goal, you're off to the side of it. I think that's a difficult moment for Forge, but just in general, there's so many. It's so difficult to break them down, you know, when they go into a game against, knowing that Ottawa loves to play in transition. They love to break lines and play through a team before they get set. Forge are like, okay, fine, have the ball and try to break us down. And it's really, really difficult to do that. So I think it's hard to count out Forge. They have so many weapons. I mean, Nana Mpoma looks incredible every week. Jose Masunda continues to be dangerous off the bench. And again, we talk so many times about players that they can bring off the bench. David Chouanier and Tristan Borges are those guys against Atlético Ottawa on the weekend. Now, this next month is going to be massive in the title race. Okay? The next time Atlético Ottawa and Forge play each other is August 17th. So that's almost just a little over exactly a month from now. That is the Saturday, I think, after the first leg of the Canadian Championship semifinals. So both these teams will be exactly like again, but these teams will be on the same. There's similar cadence, right? They'll have played midweek. They'll have played a semifinal game midweek. They come into this again game for first place, probably at that point. But what's most interesting is the 4 games that they both play between them are against the exact same teams, right? So Ottawa's next 4 CPL games: home against Halifax, away at Pacific, home against York, away at Valor. Forge's next 4 games: home against Pacific, away at Halifax, home against Valor, away at York. Right? So it's hard to have a more even title race than that. They start this point 1 point separated. They have pretty much the same run, the same cadence, even starting this week where they play at the exact same time on Friday night, right? At home, both of them. So genuinely, I think the next month is either going to do nothing for the title race and they'll be in the exact same spot, and then that next Forge Ottawa game will be another massive clash for first place, or there's going to be a separation by then. So I think this is going to be fascinating to watch over the next few weeks, and I certainly can't wait to see them play again. Now, I do think it's going to be tough to keep an eye on both games on Friday night, but again, it'll be fun watching a live table because if Forge pick up points against, I think they've got Pacific and Ottawa have Halifax at home. If Forge win that game and Ottawa don't, Ottawa have not beaten Halifax yet this season, then we've got a slightly different thing. So anyway, halfway point of the season, the CPL Shield race is well and truly on, and that's what we're going to be watching over the next few weeks. Certainly fascinating to see which of these sides comes out on top, wins a trophy, wins a CONCACAF Champions Cup spot. A lot to watch.